All right, let's talk about Tampa's suburbs. I want to share some of the worst things about the suburbs around Tampa, Florida. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel. We make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to Tampa. We're also a team of realtors here in the area, and we'd love a chance to earn your real estate business. So give us a call, text, or email anytime. We'd love to connect with you, hop on a Zoom call, and see how we can best help. Okay, suburbs. Suburbs are a big topic always. A lot of our clients buy houses in the suburbs. It's kind of that American dream kind of setup. But let's start by defining suburbs. What do I even mean? Suburbs are just residential areas. They're typically outside of the city. Today, we're gonna talk about this highlighted area on the map. So you see Tampa core there in the middle, this kind of outside area, just out of reach of that area, where you could commute into that area, but that area is not like your neighborhood. And this like suburb idea is an old idea. Even in Tampa, there's a lot of older suburbs, and they really set out to be the place where you live and play, and maybe you just go work somewhere else. So they wanted to really be kind of a city within a city, where you didn't feel like you had to leave this area to go do things or get things. And Tampa has a lot of really old suburbs that are now part of the city of Tampa, starting with Sulphur Springs, just north of the river. So the Hillsborough River runs through the middle of Tampa, goes north and south, goes east and west. It kind of goes like up and over in the city. Just north of that bend in the river is Sulphur Springs. There's still an old water tower there. They built the streetcars that were in downtown on the port in Ybor City that went all the way up to Sulphur Springs to this residential suburb up in this area. People could take the rail cars down to work in the city. Later, other ones popped up in Tampa, over in West Tampa. There's still a water tower there as well, but then along that path to Sulphur Springs, Seminole Heights and Tampa Heights bloomed there before the 1920s as well. Those are no longer suburbs. They are very much in the city. So just to refer back, this is the area I'm talking about on the map. And of course, we could create more parameters of it can only be 45 minutes from the airport or from downtown or something like that. We're not gonna play that game too much because some of you don't care about being that close to those certain things. And real quick, Cheval, this area just to the north of Tampa, which is technically in Lutz. And I was a little torn on whether or not to include Cheval in this area, because technically when you exit the south side of Cheval, you're like in Tampa. But I didn't end up including it because on the north side of that neighborhood, you have these really good schools and you have these other neighborhoods that are very much in the suburbs, so the Cheval area gets included. But let's get right into the 6 things that I think are awful about the suburbs. Number 1, this one comes up a lot. There's no Trader Joe's in the suburbs around Tampa. Not at all. There's one in St Petersburg and there's one in South Tampa. Not the suburbs at all. At best, if you live in the suburbs, you're 35 minutes from Trader Joe's at best. Likely quite a bit further. Whole Foods as well. There's one in Northdale, which is kind of close to that Cheval area, but that's really your best bet. Otherwise, you got to go over to Clearwater or to downtown, like Midtown Tampa area. So Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, just not accessible for suburbs. Okay, number 2, because the suburbs are so popular and because of what the suburb is built for, there's a lot of commute traffic. So whether you live in Wesley Chapel or Newport Richey or Fishhawk, people are commuting to these other centers like Tampa and St Petersburg on a daily basis or a weekday basis, because that's where the work centers are. These suburbs often don't employ that many people other than the people that serve you at shopping and restaurants and things like that. So you're gonna have to deal with commute traffic if you live in these areas. And it does get backed up. Now traffic here is not crazy. Locals think it's crazy. You're moving from a big city, I promise you it's not crazy here. During commute times, it's gonna slow down 30 to 50%. It's probably not gonna slow down 100%. Okay, number 3 negative thing about these suburbs is they're building and building and building, and it just seems like they don't stop. So let's talk about a specific example of this. In Wesley Chapel, very popular suburb, they're building a new neighborhood called Avalon. It would be a little over 4,000 homes. There's condos with commercial areas down below. It'll be really cool. They'll be kind of like a downtown kind of center, but they're building and building. There's no downtown, they still have to build it. But then next to the main mall, the shops at Wiregrass in Wesley Chapel, they've leveled out another area of trees and they're building stuff there. maybe a new specialty grocery store, a movie theater. It's kind of some buzz around it. And then on the west side of Wesley Chapel, just up Wesley Chapel Boulevard, which is kind of an unincorporated, confusing area of Wesley Chapel, they've been building tons of apartments up by the Grove shopping area. Tons of apartments back there, and locals back there that have bigger lots are like protesting this kind of building. But you just have all this kind of churn of building in these suburbs, and that can be kind of tiring. Okay, this next con is kind of confusing. The suburbs have decent schools. Some have good schools, some have okay schools. Very rarely do they have really good schools. So those schools that are connected to kind of Cheval area are good. Those schools are McKittrick, Martinez, and Steinbrenner. Right there, just outside of the Cheval neighborhood. Other neighborhoods next to it are Villa Rosa. On the other side of the expressway right there, you have Terramore, a newer neighborhood. A lot of neighborhoods go to those schools. Those are good. Those are really good schools. Other really good public schools that fall into the suburbs are out in Fishhawk, Newsom High. I don't know the names of the elementary and middle school out there, but people seem to really like those schools and choose that area because of the schools as well. And some of the other schools are pretty good, like the Wiregrass schools in Wesley Chapel, the south side of Wesley Chapel. People seem to choose those specifically, but they're not ones that people like brag about. The schools up there, whether it's Wesley Chapel or Land O'Lakes or over in Newport Richey, in my opinion, they're fine. Every school is going to be so dependent on teachers and on your child and your own preferences. Okay, so schools, good, not great, okay, up to you, really. You got to dig in. Number 5, some of these master plan communities, especially the newest ones, the ones down south in Parrish, the ones on the north side of Wesley Chapel, Epperson and Murata, on the north side of Land O'Lakes, Angeline, they feel far out. There is stuff kind of in between them. There's tons of empty land in between them, and they just feel far out there in general. You're gonna have to drive to do anything. And with Epperson, they like to brag that once you get to I-75, you're 30 minutes from downtown. But it might take 10 minutes to get to I-75. There might be traffic on I-75, and then you're kind of downtown. You still have to get off the road and get to your next place. So you're probably an hour from your work in downtown. They just feel far out there, and it's worth it to come visit, to come drive to them, to come check them out, because it just might surprise you. And we have a lot of clients that buy houses out there and are super happy because they want that self-contained thing away from the city. So this may not even be a negative to you. Okay, number 6, negative things. I gotta hurry up because there's a lawnmower coming down the road and it's gonna get loud. Is fixed costs. So of course, property taxes in some of these areas are higher, and I've even seen cases where they're super high, like the Stonebriar neighborhood, which goes to those good schools in the Lutz area, the Steinbrenner schools. I've seen taxes be really high. Actually, one of my clients recently bought a home in that area, and it was $860,000. Their taxes, though, were over $13,000 a year. Now, I would expect them to be, $8,500. And then I would expect maybe there's a CDD that's $3,000. That would be a high CDD in that area. So that would put it at $12,000, but it was $13,000. So it was high in a few different ways, those property taxes. So sometimes that's an issue. Typically your CDD in these newer communities is going to be figured in with your property taxes, but it's just an additional expense that they try to package into this thing, and you just got to make sure you know exactly what it is. It's always going to be disclosed during the contract period, but when you're looking at these areas, it's just something you need to pay attention to. And then the last of those fixed expenses is HOA. So a lot of these newer communities have nice HOAs, nice amenities. What happens though, when you buy into the neighborhood, you usually have to pay some kind of funding fee. If you move out, you have to pay some kind of resale fee. And then you typically have like a club fee. You have, other assessments that get added onto it. It adds up pretty fast. So those additional fixed costs are just one of the downsides of these areas, and it might not seem like much to you. That's okay. I just need you to be aware of the potential downsides, not be shocked by these things. As always, we love a call, text, or email from you to connect and see how we can help you. And thanks for coming by.